into the 7 Financial Blind Spots. My name's Steve Siddall, and in the 7 Financial Blind Spots, we have gone through written goals, government programs. We talked about inflation. We talked about taxes, even hit on mortgages. Now, number 6, we put it off long enough. Tatiana Bunich and her son Sammy are here from Financial One Wealth, South Florida. Always good to see you guys, and this is going to be a fun one. Procrastination. Yep, we put it off long enough.
People procrastinate.
Sure.
Nobody wants to deal with these. Nobody wants to deal with this stuff. It's not, it feels scary. It's not fun. And
well, and quite frankly, for a lot of it's intimidating to come in and sit down with someone. Yeah.
It's intimidating. And also, especially when we get to the estate planning, that's even worse because then we're talking about our mortality. And who wants to do that?
No, that's not our pleasant topic.
No. So, and even like what you said, intimidating, like people think they can't retire. Like Sammy said, we get so many people come in, they say, I can't retire, I'm going to work for the rest of my life. Now, we figure out how to get them to retire, and that's very rewarding, and they're happy, and it's fulfilling. But it does start with the conversation. It is worth not procrastinating and sitting down and having a talk, because honestly, a lot of times it's not as bad as you think. We can make a better outcome than what you think it's going to be. We can get you to retire. We can get you to live comfortably. We can put together the estate plan so that you leave a legacy and not a mess.
And those are the kinds of things that we procrastinate because we don't want to hear those answers. Correct. Because we don't think, because we've already come up with the answer, but we don't know.
Yeah.
That's the big takeaway.
Yeah, and especially in estate planning, you know, it is the hardest area to not procrastinate in. It really is, because like I said, nobody wants to face their mortality. I don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. You don't want to do it. You kind of have to like remove your brain from the mortality piece and just focus on something else through the process, which is I love my family, I love my kids, I love the people that I'm leaving my money to, the charities, whatever it is. And I'm doing this to better their life versus think about my mortality, because when you don't plan, you fail. And if you don't have an estate plan of some sort, one day you're going to leave a mess for a lot of people. And when you leave a mess, a lot of fighting, unnecessary fighting happens in family, it destroys families. And also the money ends up going to attorneys for legal fees versus the people you love. So as hard as that is, let's not procrastinate and let's sit down and put together an estate plan that makes you happy and that works for your loved ones.
So is that the first step? Is that what we should do first?
In terms of procrastination, I mean, there's a lot of steps. We actually tackle the estate planning last because we need to understand where the assets are, we need to understand what they're doing, and we need to understand who they're going to. And that's kind of the last step in the process.
Sure.
And then, because it's very clear how the accounts are titled, who gets what the purpose of each account is, and then we could put together the estate plan, because all those pieces matter in the estate planning process.
And again, that's great advice and great way to just sort of follow through on all of that. What is the one thing that you would say, Sammy, to someone who's facing procrastination? In other words, they're just living in fear of knowing the answer.
I hear my father's voice inside of me right now. He has
really?
a saying, it's when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it couldn't be more true, especially when it comes to these types of things, because a lot of the times you want to do these things, and sometimes it's too late. And when it's too late, you can't revert this thing. Once it's set in stone, it's set in stone. So before that happens, before you need these documents, let's go ahead and get these documents done. That way, you're always prepared.
Well, we put it off long enough. We dove into procrastination, and we're moving forward. In fact, when 7 Financial Blind Spots, when we come back next time, we're going to talk about retirement age. That'll be a fun discussion.